It's Mock Draft Monday time. Detroit Lions edition. This is our 6th iteration of it. We will have 8 total by the time the NFL draft comes around. And I've never not changed who I take with their first pick.
I know you don't.
And I don't think I'll be changing it anytime soon.
Especially if we're trading back. You know, it's some interesting scenarios.
I don't think you can put a cost or a value number on making the right decision. If you make the right decision, nobody cares when you took the guy.
Very true.
It's that simple. People only complain that Baker Mayfield was a bust and a horrible pick and number one because, well, he didn't work.
Yeah.
If he was the second coming of Patrick Mahomes, everybody would have told the Cleveland Browns how great of a job they did, right?
Right.
So that's the reality. But here's my mock. All right, Alex, you can throw it up on the screen. Everybody, this is my mock draft 6.0. I'm not changing who I'm taking first off the board. I traded back with Atlanta. I got pick 44. I traded 81 to get their 75th overall pick, and that was my board. Also, I gave up a later 6th round pick. But anyways, this is the board. We'll start with Kalijah Kancey at 8. He's my guy. For Detroit, for me, it's worth it. For Detroit. If I'm the Raiders, if I'm Atlanta, I don't think I can get away with a Kalijah Kancey convincing my community. But for me, for the Lions, I think this is such a home run pick. At 18, I struggled here. Joey Porter off the board, Christian Gonzalez off the board, Devon Witherspoon off the board. Everybody's off the board that I want at corner.
Right.
Okay, fine. Well, Bijan Robinson was available. Nope. Jordan Addison was available. Nope. And I'm not even saying that Lucas Van Ness needs to be a day one starter to the point where he's getting 90% snap counts. I don't mind him his first year in the NFL getting a 50% snap count, sharing snaps with all the guys, Aquara, Houston. I don't mind it. That's a stash of talent and develop him, and by year 2, year 3, he breaks out.
Right.
I'm okay with that. And at 18, what am I doing? And I didn't want to trade out again, and I didn't want to get a future pick. I figured, you know what? Let's have fun with the mock. Let's just take players, right? Pick 44, I was trying to trade up to 35. I offered 44 in next year's 3rd to move up to 35.
Mm-hmm.
But they said no. So I was like, whatever, I'm not going to get Jack Campbell because typically he was taken between 32 and 36.
Right.
And I wanted to make sure I got him. He was still on the board. Well, lucky for me, they said no, and he was available. I don't think that's real, and I'll always call a spade a spade. I don't think that's even ever a possibility. But damn it, I'll take it. At 48, you guys know how I feel about wide receiver. I think it's a 2nd, 3rd round option for the Lions this year. Jalen Hyatt, perfect fit. But this is my favorite pick of the whole board. This is my favorite pick. Julius Brents.
Oh.
Cornerback, Kansas State, pick 55. I absolutely love this. This, out of everything, is my favorite pick on the board. I love that he was available at 55. I address the secondary. I address linebacker. I get 2 defensive linemen. I get a wide receiver. And then in the 3rd round, I have no risk. Hendon Hooker can never play a snap for the Detroit Lions, and I don't care. And to be honest with you, I don't even love him. But I don't care. Because the idea of drafting Hendon Hooker at 75 to me is low risk, high reward. If he doesn't work out, nobody cares. He was a 3rd round pick. And if he works out, you guys can thank me later on. 5th round, you guys know how I feel about it. I've never changed. 5th round goes to a running back no matter what. Keaton Mitchell out of East Carolina. And then, of course, we take a kicker at pick 183. Jeff, give me your initial reaction.
I like it. I mean, could have went a lot of different scenarios. The fact they got Jack Campbell, and I think you admitted that, unrealistic. But still, if you're looking at the players, Jalen Hyatt, Jack Campbell, Lucas Van Ness, Kancey, even Julius Brents. I know he didn't run the fastest 40, but still big corner. I like it. All these guys, a majority of them, are going to be able to contribute. But you know what I love. You know what pick I love the most? It's Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee in the 3rd round. I love it. Again, you don't have to take a quarterback at 6. I know we talked about the possibility being open to it, but even if you don't, you got Hendon. You can take a Clayton Tune late in the draft. I love the way you went Hendon. I think he's going to be ready by the season, so I love it. You adjust a lot of positions. I love that you took a wide receiver. And again, you mixed it up. I think now post DJ Chark, we're open. Now you kind of are looking at more wide receivers. You've seen that more in our mock drafts. But I love it, honestly. Hendon Hooker pick, I absolutely
All right,
love.
let's see the grades, guys. Drop a grade.
Drop the grades.
Jeff, what would you give me?
I'd give you an A. I did. I think you addressed positions of need. You got players that I like, that I think a lot of people are going to like, and players that can come in right away and contribute. So, and great value, by the way. I mean, even Jack Campbell, Julius Brents, Hendon Hooker. You took players. I love the Jake Moody. That adds a little bonus in there, too. So
Tyler.
I'd give you an A.
Tyler, he said Deonte Banks at 18 is a huge upside move. I agree. I will say when I first looked at Deonte Banks, I didn't like him. And then Jeff yelled at me off camera, and I went and looked more. He's a nice player, worthy of a first-round pick. He was not available. All 4 corners were off the board.
Right.
I had 0 options at 18 to take anybody. Any draft with Brents is an A+. Julius Brents, man, that's your Emmanuel Forbes basically for me in this draft.
I love it. Yeah.
I thought it was a solid pick at 55. High value. I get Hyatt. I get Hendon Hooker. Again, it's Hendon Hooker, guys, in the 3rd round. As if I'm drafting somebody in the 3rd round that's going to come in and be a Pro Bowler in the next 2 years. Probably the odds very low.
Do you think Hendon Hooker can beat Nate Sudfeld for the backup quarterback
I hope
position?
he can. And
yes,
if he
can.
doesn't play for 2 years,
Yeah.
and the Lions are left with, I don't know what to do at quarterback, hopefully by then you can figure out if he's the guy or if you draft somebody. I don't care. To me, it's a whatever pick.
Right.
It's literally 0 risk, only upside. If he is an average NFL quarterback, that's a good pick. If he's anything more than average, it is a phenomenal pick.
Right.
0 risk
Huggy
involved.
Bear says, Jeff, you said Hendon Hooker will be ready by the start of the season. My question is, ready for what? Ready to be the backup. That's what I meant. And it's true. He'll be ready by the season. So you're absolutely right. Justin says Hooker wouldn't have to be ready for 2 seasons. Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
Everyone that hates on Hooker's age has nothing else to bring up other than the fact that he just turned 25 in January. He can easily get 10 years out of him. That complaint is an absolute joke. Funky, I agree. To be honest with you, I don't care about Hendon Hooker's age anymore. You know why? Because if you told me Hendon Hooker, okay, in theory, was a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, and you told me he gave me 7 seasons to my franchise, any franchise, not just the Lions, I think that's a really good pick in the 2nd or 3rd round. You tell me I get 7, 8 years of, quote, a Pro Bowl level quarterback, anybody would take that. You'd be stupid not to. So, yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. To me, the age thing is being overblown. You're spending a 3rd on a backup. We got Kirby in the 3rd. Okay. So let me ask you this. Who are you going to get in the 3rd round this year that you're sold on? A.T. Perry? Nah. Jamie Robinson? No. You're good at safety. What corner are you going to get in the 3rd round? Please. And Garrett Williams? No. It's a 3rd round pick. I'm not worried at all. I'll take the chance on Hendon Hooker. He can go in and compete with Sudfeld.
Oh, yeah.
Win the backup job easily.
Come on. Even this comment too, Answer 14 says, Jeff is getting misty over that Hooker pick. He and Maz love the quarterback thing. Listen, me and Maz have a different philosophy. Maz will take anybody and their mother at 6 at quarterback. I'm a little different.
Maz is a prostitute that works on the corner,
I don't
right?
want-
You give him $5, he'll get on his knees whether you're a guy or a girl.
Maz will
matter.
take any of the quarterbacks at 6. I want 2 that are going to be gone the first 2 picks. So we are not the same, but yes, quarterback, you got to
poor
at least
Maz.
get one. I think they'll draft one this year. I do.
If you test the waters on Cansey and pass on Anthony Richardson, you're smoking crack. Anthony Richardson, dude. I will never get over this. Guys, hear me out before you yell at me, okay?
All right.
Here's what I think of Anthony Richardson. I think if you live in a fantasy world where you say who has the most upside of anybody coming out, I think you can make the argument for Anthony Richardson, right? He's mobile, dynamic, strong,
Big.
super talented arm, all the attributes you'd want in a quarterback, okay? Let's live in your fantasy land. And I'll use Josh Allen as the example because a lot of people are comparing his college career to Josh Allen, but what they forget and what they miss is Josh Allen played multiple years and had a ton of game film and game tape that you could look at and say, wow. The difference between Josh Allen and Anthony Richardson right now coming out is with Josh Allen, you had about 200-300 throws to pick from. With Anthony Richardson, you have to go to every game and maybe pick 1 or 2. You're like, oh my God, if he could make that throw more consistently. Oh my God, you see that? Oh my goodness, you see that throw? And there's probably 20 to 30 throws over the course of a season. compared to the 100 to 300
Right.
that you had with Josh Allen when he was taken at 7. I think the Anthony Richardson thing is being overblown. I would not take him as a general manager in the NFL, especially that high in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
To me, if I could get him at 12, 14, 18, 20, 22, sign me up.
Right.
I'm willing to take the risk. I can live with it. But when you ask me to spend the 6th overall pick, I am looking for an all-pro player, a 3-4-time all-pro player, and a 7, 8, 9-year stretch. That's what I'm looking for.
Now, to your logic, if he works out, there you go. Then
And if he doesn't?
then you're most likely you're taking
if he
some heat.
doesn't?
If you're the general manager,
If he doesn't, and again, you can get away with missing on a corner. You can get away with missing on a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, a
Right.
wide receiver. You can't get away with missing on a quarterback, guys.
especially if you don't have a backup option.
You are
Yeah.
not allowed to miss on quarterbacks. That is the number one rule in the NFL. Convince me why. You look at Josh Allen coming out of, what was it, Wyoming?
Yep, Wyoming.
You look at Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming, threw for 4,300 yards this last year. Excuse me. I'm choking on my own self this year. He was 2 full years as a starter, right? He gave you 2 full years. And to me, 4,800 yards, by the way, for his career. I misspoke. Anyways, he gave you over 600 attempts. 600 attempts. 350 completions. Anthony Richardson gave me what? Exactly. It's such a different sample size, man. You're asking me to look at Anthony Richardson, guys, and to take him at 6. You're asking me to take him at 6 based off of 20 to 30 throws maybe I've seen over game tape of him making spectacular throws where you're like, holy hell, how the hell do you do that? But you will ignore the other 150 throws where you're like, what the fuck is he doing? It's the same with Will Levis. Will Levis makes awful decisions. That's why nobody should touch him in the top 10.
Right.
He has a consistent habit on tape of making awful decisions. Who wants to take that in the top 10? Now, again, in your fantasy land where everybody works out and it's all perfect, Anthony Richardson has the highest ceiling, yes. But I'm not taking him over Stroud or Young. I'd bet my money on those two before him.
Stephen Baffy says Anthony Richardson completion percentage last year 53.8, prior year 59.4. That is a bit concerning to me. Prior year is a smaller sample. Okay, but Josh Allen is the exception, not the rule. I think that last part.
Thank you.
I think that last part's spot on. Josh Allen is the exception, not the rule. Yeah, because again,
Lamar at the end of the first round. I'll take Anthony Richardson at 31.
Right.
If the Lions trade back into the first round and take Anthony Richardson at 31, I would have no problem with it at all.
Now, the difference, though, because you could say, well, if you redo a redraft, Lamar goes, top 5. He'll go with the head of everybody.
Lamar was a Heisman-winning quarterback coming out,
Thank you.
And he wasn't even projected into the top 10.
He was.
Think about that.
Check his numbers.
Lamar was supposed to be a second-round pick.
Yeah, Lamar.
And Baltimore came in at the last minute, wanted the 5th-year option. They did well. Good for them. Lamar Jackson, a Heisman winner, whose numbers shit on Anthony Richardson, who was more accurate in college than Anthony Richardson could ever dream of being, who played with less talent than he played with at Florida.
True.
Heisman candidate, Heisman winner. Lamar wasn't a top 10 pick.